First up, Stel, why Spurs? How did you become a Spurs fan?
Granddad and uncle, all Spurs fans. That's what got me following them. But what made me really support them was they took me to my first ever game. We stood up just in front of the East Stand shelf, the shelf side. Mm-hmm. We were 1-0 down to Southampton, and in second half we scored 4 goals in 4 minutes. The first time it was ever done, and Nick Barmby scored, I think, 2. It was just mental. 12-year-old, 4 goals in 4 minutes. Fans are going crazy. It's back in the days where people put fish and chips in newspaper. All the chips went up in the air. I was covered in chips, and that was it.
You thought this was better than me.
Yeah, I fancy a bit of this. Yeah,
we've had some good first games, haven't we? Rez's first game was the Wimbledon 6-2 away. His brother took him as a surprise to the Wimbledon 6-2, and Klinsmann got the 4 goals. Who had some good first games here. That is a good one. Next question. Your first home game. You've just told us the score and the scorers. Was it 4-0, 4-1?
4-2.
4-2 was it? Yeah. What else do you remember about the day then, apart from the chips and the 4 in 4 minutes?
I remember chanting, "We want 5. We want 5. We want 5." I haven't chanted that since back then. It's been about 25 years.
Chance has never arisen since then. Do you remember the moment where you walked up the stairs? I always remembers my first time is where you walk up the stairs and you see the green that hits you for the first time. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that moment you walk out of through the gangway into the actual stadium bit, you just I think any big stadium you walk into for the first time and you get that moment, it's like goosebumps, isn't it? It's like, oh my god. Yeah. The pitch was a lot smaller than it was a lot smaller than what I thought. Because it looks so big on TV, but that's just kind of, I guess, the camera lens and the camera angles. But yeah, that's even now when I go to a new stadium and I walk through, like the new White Hart Lane, for example, when they built the new stadium, the first time I walked into that through, I was like, wow. So I just think it's any new time you go to a stadium that's got a bit of a name.
You know what? Even to the last game at White Hart Lane, I still got that every time I went up those steps into the East Stand and just up that first bit. And you saw that green. It's such a beautiful green colour in it, and the buzz of the match day, the atmosphere in the air. It's all awesome, isn't it? It's what hooks most people in. Next question.
As well.
And you can what?
You can smell the grass, the mud, and the grass.
Well, we got onto the pitch there. Did you get on the pitch on the last game?
I never got to go to the last game.
Oh, we made it down onto the pitch, and the grass, it's really hard, like AstroTurf, and it's kind of a mixture of synthetic and grass, isn't it? So you notice me and Gaz have picked some turf off there, and all the grass has died now, but the synthetic is still going strong. It's really hard. That was the thing that struck me about the pitch as well. Yeah, it's really, really hard, and then it curves down, doesn't it, like that? If you remember.
Yeah, I remember the dip.
That
bit.
It's the drainage.
Next one, your first away game, Stel. Can you remember that?
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, I do. It wasn't a great game. It was a pre-season friendly. We played up at Stevenage, in the Stevenage Stadium. It's not technically a friendly, is it? Technically an away game. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll class it as an away game.
Yeah.
It's a pre-season friendly, I guess. In terms of a big stadium, it was... We went away. We were down in Portsmouth. By chance, we were down there that weekend because I was at university. I was down in Brighton, so it was just a quick drive down the south coast.
Is that Sussex, Stelios?
Say again?
Was that Sussex?
No, I went to Brighton University. I didn't quite get the A-level grades to get into Sussex, so I went to the Polytechnic that became a university.
Well, better than me. I didn't go at all. So
you don't need uni anymore. I think that's an old thing.
Yeah, yesterday's me, isn't it?
But what I will say was
my brother went to Sussex, so I was wondering. That's all. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, listen. The Portsmouth fans were brilliant. I mean, brilliant. That's when they it's when old what's his name, Harry Redknapp was manager.
The bloke with the belt.
Yeah, you and Mr. Portsmouth arm in arm, giving him tattoos and stuff.
That's him, with the cowbell.
Big hat, yeah. He's like a librarian, isn't he? So some really dweeby job.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Next question. First Spurs shirt. Can you remember?
Yeah. First Spurs shirt was the 1991 FA Cup final when they first went to Armbro. And I've still got that kit. Loved it. Probably one of my most favourite football kits we've ever had.
The great lacy sort of embroidery in it, didn't it? It's great kit that was.
It was the Armbro kind of diamond.
Yeah.
Kind of printed into the kit.
Yeah, you know what it was as well. It was one of the first kits that had those massive shorts, didn't it? I remember Gazza had the almost going down to his ankles shorts, didn't he? And then before that, it was like the little budgie smuggler shorts, wasn't it? That everyone used to wear. It was one of the first kits. So leading on from that, who was your first Spurs hero as a child? First guy that made you think, wow.
Do you know what? It was Nicky Barmby because he scored those goals.
I used to love Nicky Barmby, yeah.
And he was actually a decent player. Nicky Barmby was a good player. So fun. Yeah, it's not a legend, but it would be Nicky Barmby.
We gave him a name check last week, saying he shouldn't have left. He sort of went up north, didn't he? Like early on in his career, he should have stuck with us. Yeah. Homesick. Middlesbrough went back to, didn't he? He had the great curtains, didn't he? The Nicky Barmby curtains. I had those at school still. I had the Nicky Barmby curtains. So
Mate,
my mate
I had long wavy hair, Peter Andre style at school. I used to put clumps and clumps of grease in my hair just to get that slick wet look. Don't worry about that. Funny enough, one player that I always liked as well, but no one really talks about him. I was a bit weird at school. I always liked things a bit different. Not on purpose, it's just how it was. But I used to really like Gordon Jury.
Yeah, in that yellow kit, you've still got that, Gaz, at football, the 91.
That's right, the yellow kit, yeah.
Great kit, wasn't it, with the colours across it. Yeah. I keep trying to buy one of them on eBay and Facebook. I'm looking out for them, but people want silly money for them now, even the second-hand ones.
You can buy mine for 200 quid.
Yeah, 200, is that all? Yeah. I need to get Daniel Levy to negotiate with you, don't I? You'll end up paying me £1 and giving it to me.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Favourite all-time Spurs player then, Stel, following on from that?
Do you know what? Because it's a position it's a kind of area of the pitch I played, and I was really good at it. I genuinely was good at it, and he was someone that just mastered it. It has to be Ledley King. I've got so much admiration for the quality of defender he was, you know. The most underrated defender the Premier League's ever seen. He was a class centre-back.
Yep.
Another player that deserved to be in a better team.
We were lucky to keep him so long, probably because of his knees. It's similar to
his injury.
Yeah, my brother always says Lloris as well. If he could kick the ball, I don't think he'd have stuck with us as long as he did. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, one of the better clubs would have nicked him, but because he couldn't kick, thing is that's worked against him a little bit, isn't it? Opposite end of the rainbow to that, then your most disliked Spurs player, apart from Arsene Campbell, of course.
Most disliked player. I would probably say do you know what? It's so tricky to answer that question because all that's going through my head is Sol Campbell. It's like, get him out your head. No, I can't.
This question used to be the worst Spurs player. That might be easy for you. Anyone that you think was absolute dog shit and you were like, oh my God.
There's loads. I'll be all day. Honestly,
yeah, exactly.
I'll be all day for that. Do you know what? Most disliked.
You'd have to start with most of our squad right now, actually, if you were looking for the worst Spurs player.
Yeah, and most disliked. There's a few out there that aren't particularly flavour of the month, is there?
Do you know what? I never like it when a player leaves on bad terms and they force the issue. But it's hard to dislike them because they tend to have been such good players for us. For example, I hate the way Modric, Bale, and Berbatov all left us. I hate the way they went on strike, refused to play, making up toe injuries. I hated all of that. It's not on, but they were so good as players. It's hard to dislike them. You know, that's where I'm stuck with this one.
It's strange how we still seem to like Berbatov so much, isn't it? He's well liked and respected and whatnot, considering what he did. Yeah, considering what he did to force that move, and us ending up.
He does say nice things about us now.
Yeah, and us ending up with Fraser Campbell as well. That was awful, wasn't it?
Oh, God, Fraser Campbell. What an absolute travesty of a transfer that was.
The next best thing. Someone mentioned Zeki Friars on one of the feeds yesterday. I was like, I forgot all about him. Because we poached him for United, didn't we? But we had to do it indirectly, sort of like from a club in Belgium or something, so we didn't get the fine.
Royal Antwerp,
Yeah, that's it.
Do you know what might be a good question instead of this one, perhaps? It's up to you. Most disliked manager. Because we've had so many.
Every time, wouldn't it?
Who's that?
Tim Sherwood.
It'll be out three. It'll be George Graham, Tim Sherwood, and Jose Mourinho. It'll be those three.
One of those.
George Graham.
Look, for me, George Graham won us a trophy. So I dislike the history. Yeah, I get why you say it, but he won us a trophy. So the fact that he came to us to put one on Arsenal, I quite like that. But
someone said he was a legend yesterday, didn't they? Levy was a legend because the only good thing he's ever done was sacking George Graham when he first got into the club.
That's how you get your brownie points, isn't it? I'd probably say Jacques Santini.
Yeah, he was useless, wasn't he?
Fucking hell.
Did he ever manage a team again? I don't think he ever did. He had that brief soiree with us, and he went. Never seemed to manage a team again.
He was atrocious.
That was a tuba and all those boys, wasn't it? We brought all those in. All I remember is a tuba when he couldn't use his right foot for shit, could he? And he cut in and scored that worldie against Newcastle, didn't he?
Opening day.
And
we thought we'd bought the next superstar.
little shot to the side, wasn't it? And curled it in.
Stepped in his own 18-yard box.
He couldn't control his own feet, could he? He was like, I just can't control my feet.
Can you imagine? Timothea Tuba is a world-class player. Oh, my God.
Next up, Stel, if you could go back in time to watch one famous game in Spurs history, which one would it be?
One famous game?
Yeah.
What, one that I've seen already or one I haven't seen?
Throughout the whole history of Tottenham, you can choose it. It could be one you've been at, but you've got the whole of Spurs history that you can choose from.
I'd love to be at the North London derby in 1961. I'd love to be a part of that.
That would be good. We had so far the answers have been: we've had Amsterdam, when we won the league the first time. That was Gaza, that was you, wasn't it? You said you'd like to have been there when we won the league in 61. 84, someone said they'd like to be there in 84 when we won the UEFA Cup. So many good nights. Next up, we've got your favourite era and team.
I've got two answers to this. I'm a massive, massive, massive lover of the 70s Ajax squad, but I can only see it through internet and TV because I wasn't alive during it. But when I look back, it's just, true total football, total football, the complete player. But in terms of my favourite team era, Pep's Barcelona was hands down the greatest club side I've ever seen play football, man. They were, mind-blowing.
Yeah.
The way they pressed you, the way if they didn't have the ball within 3 seconds, they get possession back from a high press, and the energy they played with, the football at times, man. The way that their one-touch football is the best I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a team play like that. I was just, wow. I loved them. Every single coach wanted to be like that. Every single player wanted to play in that team. I've never been so much in front of every time the Spanish football was on TV, because Sky Sports had that whole William. Is it Guillem Ballet?
Well, Guillem Balaguer.
He did that show, and on Sky, and every week I tune in. I fell in love with La Liga because of Barcelona. Although I must say as well, my dad always talks about 70s Brazil. Yeah. He always tells me 70s Brazil was like a magical team, but for me, Pep's Barca was just magic.
And on the Tottenham side of things, what was your favourite era and team from Spurs?
1920. From a fan perspective, that season that we were chasing down Leicester for the title was just fucking great supporting Tottenham, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you know, beatings? I remember we went away to Stoke. I think we won 4-1 or 4-2.
4-0.
Was it 4? Yeah. Did we go 1-0 down? 4-0. You're right. 4-0.
I think we beat them 4-0 both times, so home and away.
It was when there was about 8 or 9 games left and we had to go away to Stoke, who were notoriously difficult. We beat them 4-0. I remember the fans singing, Leicester City, we're coming for you. Yeah. I've never felt that as a fan.
Such confidence, that we were going to do it.
That we're coming for you and we're taking the league title. And I thought, you know what, that season, as in terms of emotion, man.
And were you at White Hart Lane against the Gooners? That I've never heard the lane that as loud as it was that time, because we went 1-0 down, didn't we? Equalised, and then Kane scored that one from the corner. When Dele kept it in, and he scored it from that tight angle, and literally the limbs and this. I've never heard the White Hart Lane, because we thought we were.
He threw his mask off. The mask on. Yeah. Do you know,
I still say that's the loudest lane.
The best atmosphere I've ever had I've experienced at White Hart Lane, and I've yet to see it replicated, was the night we beat Chelsea 5-1 in the Carling Cup semi-final when Tim Sherwood was playing for us. And we lost the final to Blackburn. Yeah. We lost to Mark Hughes' Blackburn. But that semi-final at the Lane, Jesus, man. Jesus, that atmosphere was insane. It was, that was probably the best atmosphere.
Let's take you up the country now then. Look, your most memorable UK away day. What's your best stories wise rather than?
All right, so my family originally Greek Cypriot background. So just as a joke, this is a true story. Me and my friends, we were on a university placement at Harrods, folding towels and selling towels to very expensive towels in Harrods for Ralph Lauren. Okay, and we decided to fly out to Portugal and watch some of the Euros. Anyway, we ended up following Greece because they're the only team we could get tickets for. And plus, it's in the culture. Mate, we followed Greece to the finals and watched them lift the Euro. Right? It was the greatest experience in my life, man. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
The only other person similar is Jenzo. Obviously, Denmark won it. What year did they win it? 92?
92, yeah.
Yeah, similar, wasn't it? Like complete underdogs. They didn't even qualify, did they? And they just got bumped into the tournament at the last minute. They got chucked out. Was it Yugoslavia or something like that?
Yugoslavia, because that's when the war started.
Didn't Arsenal buy Johnny Jensen off the back of that?
Yeah.
They thought they were attacking midfielder who scored from range all the time, didn't they? Just that one shot that you got lucky with.
Do you know what? The same happened with the Greek players. Zacharakis, Haristes, they all went off to these clubs into Milan. They were all terrible.
It was a striker with the long hair. He was fucking a right beast, wasn't he? Massive guy. I think he played for Rangers or Celtic. Celtic, yeah.
Samaras. He wasn't in that squad.
Samaras.
Do you know what? The only player that was in that squad that actually I thought was a pretty decent player was Giannakopoulos, and he played for Bolton Wanderers at the time.
I remember him.
He was all right. He was an all right player. But mate, honestly, 2,500 to 1 they were on the betting.
Nice.
Yeah, great away
day. Next, I've got a similar, most memorable European away day with Spurs. Have you got any? Have you been overseas with Spurs at all? Still?
I've never been away with Tottenham in Europe. Never. I've wanted to. I was planning to do it last year. I actually bought, like a fucking idiot, I bought a hotel. I booked the hotel for the Europa Cup final. And I booked it in August. I got a really nice 5-star for about 200 quid for 3 nights. I thought, bargain. No one's going to book this far in advance. And then COVID happened. Zagreb happened.
So it's your fault.
So I got lumbered with these hotel tickets. But luckily I called them up and they refunded me on the grounds of COVID, so I got away with it.
I bet they could flog it twice as much to one of the teams that was going out there. Which Spurs player got you most excited when you first heard the news of their signing? These newspapers, I guess, in the olden days, wasn't it? You opened the paper and you'd seen that we'd signed someone.
Carrier pigeon, wasn't
it? Everyone had their own little loft on their roof. I'm just going to check the Spurs news. Come here.
Do you know what? It would have to be. You're not making me laugh. I'm trying to focus.
Zen.
Jurgen Klinsmann.
Jurgen Klinsmann. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. because of his standing in the game. Yeah, at the time was it Popescu and Dimitrescu, though, wasn't it? All three.
I was on the way to with the lads on no, it wasn't. It was my family. We were on our way on holiday, and we were at Gatwick Airport, and there was a delay, and thank God there was a delay, because Match of the Day come on in the airport, and it was Klinsmann's first game when he scored that diving header against Sheffield Wednesday, and he went sliding. Mate, the whole airport erupted. The whole of Gatwick Airport erupted.
Really?
Oh my God, there's Spurs fans everywhere. This is great.
Jens said you were working in London, weren't you, Jens? Tell the story.
Yeah. No, I was working I was kitchen fitting in Covent Garden, and the news came up that we signed Dimitrescu and Popescu, and I was like, wow. And then I was in a little Spanish resort called Blarney's when we played Sheffield Wednesday, beaten 4-3. Yeah.
And you thought we were going to be world beaters this season, didn't you?
I thought we were there.
Where did we finish that season? It wasn't great, was it?
It was like 5 up front and 1 in midfield. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Aussie Ardiles quality.
If you could have scored one famous goal in Spurs history, which one would it be?
If you could have scored one of the most famous goals in Tottenham's history, do you know what? It's in our history, but it's not actually our history. It would be Naeem's goal from the halfway line against Arsenal.
Yeah, we got some good votes for Eric Dyer against West Ham last week, didn't we? That would have been a good one to score, wasn't it? Right in front of the West Ham fans when he scored on his debut. That would have been
as good as Stalteri.
And Stalteri, Stalteri's goal. Imagine scoring that one in front of the West Ham fans.
You could hear the West Ham fans' hearts breaking as that goal went. It was gorgeous.
And the Sky Sports commentators as well. They were gutted, weren't they?
Yeah.
I think if it was an actual Spurs player that scored a goal, definitely that Lucas Moura goal, the 95th minute. I don't think we're ever going to beat a moment like that unless we win a trophy again. But imagine scoring that. Imagine what he went through. Oh my God.
Imagine scoring the Gascoigne free kick still against Arsenal. That would have been another good one, wouldn't it?
I was at that game.
Yeah.
I was at that game. Yeah. That was one of the greatest scenes in the stands ever. We lost it because Arsenal were brilliant that season.
They won
the league. They were on course to do the double. We stopped them from doing a double.
Yeah.
I remember watching it in my bedroom. My granddad came around to watch it with me, and I just wouldn't come down because I didn't think we'd win, because I thought they were going to batter us because they were much better than that season. As soon as that free kick went in, I could come downstairs and watch the game properly then. So we had a chance.
Yeah, we done well.
Which part of the old White Hart Lane was your season ticket in, and any memories of your time there?
It was in the corner of where the West Stand curved into the North Stand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember. Did we get? We used to access it through the North Stand, so it's the North Stand corner on the. Was
it the bit they knocked down? That first bit they knocked down. Yeah. So you got moved, did you? Where'd you get moved to? Did you get a better seat or a worse, or Daniel Levy worse seat?
We didn't get moved.
Nah?
I don't think we got moved, no.
No, it was the North.
That was the corner of the East End.
They knocked down the corner of the shelf, didn't they?
The opposite end.
Yeah, we didn't get moved. In terms of atmosphere, it was brilliant up there. Absolutely loved it up there. It was, in fact, I think the atmosphere in the old stadium was better. But I'm not sure just yet if it's better, because we were a better team in the old stadium under Poch. The atmosphere was always electric.
Yeah.
All together as well, and the team was together and the fans and everything. Yeah.
Except for the Man City.
That was good. Yeah.
Champions League game.
Quarter-final, yeah.
Pretty much most games at White Hart Lane have been dog shit.
Yeah, they have. That's the only one I can think of.
It's not been good times, man. It hasn't, unfortunately.
Yeah. Leading on from that, what was the loudest atmosphere you ever heard at the Old Lane?
The Old Lane?
Yeah, the Old Lane.
Chelsea. Chelsea in the
game
I mentioned before.
5-2, 5-3. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Harry Kane. Yeah.
No, the Carling Cup game.
The Carling Cup semi-final. Okay. Yeah. You were at that one, Gaz, weren't you as well? Jens, were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
I took my ex-missus and she said, "I'm never going to football with you ever again."
She's X for a reason, mate. She's X for a reason. Have you ever got into? Go on, Gaz.
I was going to say, you know what used to kind of determine what was a cracking game and a cracking atmosphere is when you come back and your shins all grazed up where you been jumping around and you scraped on the seats in front.
Mate, do you know
A fair
what?
few of those injuries over the years.
That's spot on. That is absolutely spot on. I don't get those injuries at the new stadium now.
Nah. Like that Harry Kane one, I went about 3 rows forward, and I didn't know where the hell I was in the stadium.
Yeah, I remember sitting in block 34 and Luka Modric almost took my head off. I was in like one. He shot, and I had a bit of the.
You got a match of the day and everything. He had a shot and it hit Jens in the face. No. Made a match of the day. Have you ever gone into a game hoping? He's gone. Let's bring it up again. Where's it gone? Have you ever gone into a game hoping we'd lose to expedite a manager's sacking?
Yep. Fortunately, yeah. I could lie and say no and come across really loyal and die hard, but no, I have. And I have to say, it was a brilliant performance by Liverpool when they beat 5-0 and AVB got sacked the next morning. Liverpool were fantastic to watch. Honestly, I sat there and just one goal where they played it from left back to centre back to right back to middle to right wing, down the line into the middle, and then Suarez scored an absolute peach of a goal. It was a wonderful goal. I
remember that one.
And I turned around to my brother and I said, AVB's gone. And next morning he was sacked. You just knew it. There's no way you're coming back from that. We were absolutely taken to pieces.
Yeah. It wasn't even the fact that they beat us, it's the fact they humiliated us.
You couldn't be having that, could we? We couldn't be having that.
Touched the ball.
Who would have won between Poch 2017, Berkshire 81 and Pleat 87? Obviously their teams, providing their fitness was the same, if we sort of acknowledge that these days the players are fitter. If they all had equal fitness and ability-wise, who do you reckon will win out of those 3 teams? And this is one for all of you guys on the panel. We'll start with you though, Stel. Martin Yell's team. Yeah, you have to be an awkward side, don't you? There's always one.
That's me.
And it's always Jens.
Yeah. Let's go around then. Yeah, we'll start with you, Stel, as it's your Q&A at the moment. Who would have won out of those 3 teams in your view?
Berkshire 81. Do you want to explain why?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, right.
I would value your opinion, mate. Go on.
I just think we had the right mentality as a team. We knew how to win cups. My uncle tells me this, so I'm just repeating what he said. But when we beat Feyenoord in the UEFA Cup final, that Feyenoord team apparently was top draw, like a really, really good team that we beat. We just had really good players: Graham Roberts, Clive Allen, Ricky Villa, Ardiles,
Hoddle,
Gareth Crooks, Hoddle. Yeah, we just had brilliant players who loved playing for the club. I think. Freaking hell, Archibald, how can I not talk about him? But that was a generation where the badge meant a lot to the players. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about rivalry. Meant everything. Winning meant a lot, but they loved the club and they did everything for the club. They would never turn against the manager. They wouldn't down tools to get rid of a No, they go on that pitch. They gave everything. So for me, I think they just
You know, the common denominator between those 3 teams, they all had great centre-back partnerships, didn't they? Miller and Roberts, Vertonghen and Alderweireld, and Goff and Mabbott. They all had great centre-back partnerships. You can't build without a decent centre-back partnership.
I'd say though, if Poch had a better squad, not just a first 11, so he had good players coming off the bench, I would have picked Poch's.
Yeah, mentality-wise, I think you're right there on Berkshire. You listen to him speak now, and they had that winning mentality, didn't you? And the others maybe didn't.
What's his name? Our goalie at the time. I forgot his name.
Clements or?
No, it wasn't Clements.
It wasn't Clements.
Tony Parks.
Alex.
Tony Parks, wasn't it?
No, wasn't it Alexic?
Alexic, yeah.
He was in the 81.
Parks was
84.
84, yeah.
Parks, because Parks saved the penalty against.
I'll Google it.
Yeah. Okay.
So moving around then quickly, Jens, who's winning out of those 3 teams?
Yeah, good question. I'll go for Pleat because I love Clive Allen.
4-5-1, 49 goals.
Yeah.
Brian Dagul has nicked a couple off of him still. He keeps saying he got 47, but 49 49 goals that year. Scored too early in that final, didn't we? First minute too early. Typical Tottenham, too early. Gaz, who's winning out of those three?
Yeah, it's a tough question, but I would say personally, because I saw this team as Poch, but you can have an argument for all three, really, in my view.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We've
I
been
love the
blessed
Poch era.
to see those teams.
Yeah.
Rez?
I'm going to go with the same as Stelios, actually. I think Berkshire 81 because of the whole mentality thing. Funnily enough, the person that I admire most in football is actually Brian Clough, because of the way that he managed and what he managed to do with his teams. And he played the game really simply. And it's, for me, the most important thing when it comes to football players is what's up here, and he instilled that. It's one of the problems we've got at the moment is that's missing up here. And it's what we've had for the last few years. So they showed it. Especially with the fact that I think we could only bring on one sub at that time. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
So these players were playing all the time, and that mentality is what drove them through fixture after fixture after fixture to finally lift something.
It's normally a forward as well. Mark Falco was normally the sub. Do you want an easy one or a hard one, Stel? Not as the actress said to the bishop.
I support Tottenham. We do everything the hard way, so let's go for hard.
Are you ready for this one? How did you meet Chy and Brian Dagul, and what was your first impression of them?
Oh, both twats. Go on, what are you going to say?
I can't remember what I was going to say now. Go on, after you.
So Chy, he used to work with my late mother, who they were both teaching. And my brother had a speech impediment. He couldn't talk properly as a kid, and his confidence went to pieces. And so we got him into football, and because my mum knew Chy, and Chy was starting up a new football team with a lot of the school kids, my brother got into that team. My brother just became a fantastic goalkeeper. I mean, he won the lot, and being part of that team, his confidence came, and he just started talking. So it kind of developed the problem that he had.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, great story! Listen, awesome story. So off the back of that, I became good mates with Chy. Turns out Chy's a Spurs fan as well. And that was it. That was good 30 years ago, So I've got a good story. Good story. How I met Chy. Brian Dagul was through school. We both went to the same secondary school, both in the same secondary school class. My school was full of Gooners and Man United and Liverpool, because they were the big clubs then. So Brian, there wasn't many of us who were Spurs, but Brian was one. So we just connected through that.
And then met up all these years later on the internet, wasn't it? Saw each other commenting on each other on different sort of posts and stuff.
Yeah, now we've met up 20 odd years later, and all we do is slag them off.
From positive groundings to negative endings.